Am I the arsehole for asking my guests to shut off the TV during my wedding? Not the arsehole. It never should have crossed their minds to turn the damn thing on in the first place. Just because the TV was there didn't give them the right to decide to watch it. They agreed to join your day and celebrate with you, so that is what they should have done. Not the arsehole. That's the height of rudeness on the part of your guests. Their conduct was disgusting and unforgivable. Not the arsehole. I think I'd have a panic attack if I just spent all the time and money on a wedding just to find out during the wedding that I'd have to get an annulment. Not the arsehole. Short of a terrorist attack like the World Trade Center, I cannot comprehend any justification for turning on a television during someone's wedding reception. That's just hillbilly rude. A few years ago a mate of mine was getting married. There was a bit football match for the England team on the same day they'd unexpectedly got through to the final stages of an international tournament. My friends realized people would want to watch it, so they asked the venue to set up a large TV in a room just off the main event and incorporated it into their day. Every wedding I've worked at, during some kind of sport season had people checking or watching the game. Some go to the bar if it's in a different room, others have streaming on the phones. I've even caught the groom and his buddies in an employee area watching the last part of a game. Most couples don't know or don't care, as long as people are enjoying themselves. Am I the only one who got a stroke while reading this? Not the arsehole. I don't get the why of votes. It's tacky and not done to turn on the TV at a wedding party. Now whoever turned on the TV was if not invited or given permission to do so, but as a host, if there are no events imminent and your guests are so bored they'd rather watch TV, why wouldn't you just let them be until the next event? Obviously they prefer it. Info after dinner and speeches. What were people supposed to do? Besides be cocktail and a little bit formal. And what does be cocktail mean? You're not the asshole for wanting the TV off, but honestly I would have let it go. Let people enjoy the day even if that means watching a 20-minute fight and then turn it off and ask everyone to join them outside after. I would rather have my guests happy than have everything exactly as I pictured in my head. What alternate activities would you like for the guests to have been doing? A post-wedding celebration is for people to enjoy themselves. The formalities were over and it was time for people to enjoy themselves. Your guests were doing just that. This isn't an American thing, this is a sporting event thing. This is going to happen though. Outop's life is she married a guy into sports. You know, there was a big sports event at my wedding for about 3 hours, think Champions League finals level, which everyone had a favorite in. So instead of fighting the inevitable and have them get pissed off and watch on phones in their cars, I just put a TV in a corner of the room and let them have their fun. You know what? It was a welcomed breather. ESH. I can understand you didn't like it on. On the other hand, your husband was right. If you just left it on for 20 minutes then you could have moved on with your night. It's sad you let this spoil your evening. Well, next time, because there will be a next time. Given your over-controlling personality, don't be so pretentious and just rent a regular ballroom. With no TVs where people will be focused on the party and everyone will do as you please. Did they ruin your party? No. Did you ruin your party? Yes. Now, if the people you invited were the kind of people who would rather watch a fight than enjoy your party, should you really have invited them? Smirking face. If you are going to have a TV at your wedding reception, somebody is going to turn it on. And if you turn it off, somebody else will turn it on. And again and again. Removal of the TV prior to the event was the only way to keep this from happening. Rookie mistake, pensive face, weary face. Not the asshole. When I got married, my friends were watching football in the bar area of our venue. I noticed my wife was not happy about it, so I went and told our wedding host to have all of the TVs shut off. The bartender told them he was informed that the TVs shouldn't have been on and apologized to them. Everyone moved on, and it is what it is. They're there for you and your husband's big day, not for a nice place to watch the fights. Sounds to me like the wedding part was over and the speeches were done and it would be right before the DJ would put on music. I'm not sure I would have minded the 20 minutes if there was a TV there, but I guess I may also be inflexible on my big day. I'm not going to say but maybe people saw it as an extension of the party if they were all hanging out together. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking them to turn it off. If I'm at a wedding that coincides with a regular or post-season Packer game, I'm going to find a way to watch that game. Also, don't people mill about and mingle outside, inside, etc. during weddings? I'm not bothered to agree, but if it was only for 20 minutes length, don't see why you couldn't just let it be. I understand you want your wedding to go a certain way, but here's the thing, it's not just your wedding, it's your husband's too. Having a panic attack over the TV being on for 20 minutes is way too dramatic too. It actually says a lot about you as a person. You ruined the day because you got mad. You weren't in total control of every aspect of how people chose to enjoy themselves, and they'll think that makes you the asshole. I've been to weddings where my husband has had big football games streaming on his phone, not the only one either. I was a bridesmaid recently and the bride and groom made a late night football game on TV part of the events of the day. I guess it depends what you're into. It's not like they were watching reruns. It sounds like it was a big fight event. It wouldn't have bothered me as they would have been out after the fight and I would have enjoyed everyone getting together excited over the same thing. Any other sport I would have joined in. Wait, so the event was over? The reception was over? Dinner was over? And everyone was gathered at a giant cabin to relax? I don't see an issue with this. The festivities were over and it was now an informal time to catch up. You're being way too controlling if you think you can dictate their entire day. I wouldn't be surprised if they chose to pack up and leave the weekend early after that. Not the asshole, but I hope you can learn how to let things slide so your days don't get ruined. A little, you're the asshole and not the asshole. If they weren't watching the TV, they may have just been standing around watching it on their phones. It sounds more like a simple dinner casual wedding than formal. They were hanging out, just not how you pictured it. If this caused an hour-long panic attack, I'm really worried about you. If this was the one major hiccup in your big day, I'd say thing went pretty smoothly. The wedding is for the groom too and he didn't seem very bothered by it. Everybody just looked at me if I was crazy. This caused me to have a panic attack. NTA for asking them to turn it off, but you're the asshole for working yourself into a frenzy and still being upset a month later. Even if you weren't wrong, you need to choose your battles and priorities. ESH. They didn't ruin the wedding for you. You got yourself all worked up and ruined it for yourself. What reaction did you expect from telling a group of adults they couldn't do what they wanted to? It sounds like you got yourself upset for way longer than the match itself would have lasted. What was the point? Not the asshole. But I don't understand why you had an hour-long panic attack because you turned off the TV at your own wedding. Maybe look into therapy to learn more about that. Now from me. It sounds like a very informal event, just like a backyard barbecue. Probably people were relaxed, chilling out, having a chat, someone put on the telly and found something interesting to watch. I understand why the OP found this upsetting. My wedding was on the same evening as a Champions League final, so I defo know how it is quite annoying. But one forgets that one's wedding is only extremely important to them, not to everyone else. For everyone else it is just a party. They were there to have fun, and they did. Edit spelling. Not the asshole. Your guests shouldn't watch TV during a wedding, that's just insanely rude. However, and I don't mean to be rude, but you might want to evaluate your response. To me, a panic attack seems a bit much for the given situation.
Am I the asshole? For telling my son's pregnant girlfriend to get a job once she has the baby or move out. My son, Stephen, has been getting into trouble with the police for numerous small-time offenses like stealing and fighting. which resulted in him getting sent to juvenile for a few months. When he came out, he had to check in with probation regularly. At the probation office, he met a girl, Lizzie, and they hit it off. She'd just come out after a year inside. Her family are very well off, but they kicked her out, so she was living in a hostel. She was only there temporarily and had nowhere to go after that. So with my permission, Stephen offered her to come and stay with us. When Lizzie first moved in, it was tough for her. She's used to quite a comfortable lifestyle and was hoping to return to one when she came out. But she settled in quickly. I gave Stephen one more chance after he came home. And fair to him, he's managed to get a job laboring on a building site. Lizzie, however, has refused to get a job. Before she got arrested, she was studying for a degree, and sees jobs like cleaning or admin work as beneath her. She's trying to find an entry-level job in the field she was studying, but has had no success. This is a bit of a problem, as even with me and Stephen working, we only just make enough to cover the rent, food and bills. More than once we've had to go days without hot water. Lizzie became pregnant a few months back and decided to keep the baby, which Stephen is fully supporting. I'm happy for them, but this will give us another mouth to feed. I said that as soon as the baby is born, if both mother and baby are healthy, of course. I expect Lizzie to take any job available. I work as a cleaner in evenings and nights, so I'm around in the daytime to take care of the baby, while Stephen and Lizzie work. I told them that if Lizzie refuses, they can look for a place of their own. This made Lizzie cry and say she doesn't want to do a soul-destroying job because she used to have a bright future ahead of her. I understand this and it's unfortunate, but I've worked shitty jobs all my life, and this building site job is the first Stephen ever had. Living where we do, shitty jobs are a part of life, and we won't be able to provide her baby with a comfortable home if she doesn't get one. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but to be honest, it might be best for her and the baby and for you if she did both. Got a job and moved out. Not the asshole. She needs to focus on what's in front of her now instead of what could have been. What did she do to get probation in the first place? Not the asshole, but why are you happy for them having a baby? Seriously. They are financially insecure. They both have records. Their job prospects right now are completely dim, and you're happy for them. Doesn't anyone under 25 on Am I the Asshole know about contraception? But on the question of whether Lizzie needs to contribute, you are not the asshole. Her best bet is to show up pregnant at her wealthy parents and beg for support. Seriously. This is her best option. Which is why being happy for them is completely mental. Not the asshole. But why on earth did you let this woman move into your home in the first place? And why are you happy that two incredibly young people who are in an extremely unstable situation are about to have a child they can't afford? That's not a happy situation. It's a disaster. You've been far too accommodating of both of them for too long. I'm glad you're finally standing up for yourself and insisting that she start contributing. Stick to it. Not the asshole. The only thing soul-destroying is her poor choices and laziness. They both need to move out now, or you will become a full-time caregiver to their baby. Not the asshole. This might sound mean, but I hate parents who have kids when they can't afford them. Not the asshole. Lizzie sounds like a mooch and a user. If she refuses to get a job, kick her to the curb. Not the asshole. Lizzie can get a year of work experience under her belt and get a job that will let her finish her degree. It will be hard, but almost everything worth doing is. Is Lizzie banking on her parents magically changing their minds? Hoping that a baby would change their stance? Can she get back to school and take out loans to finish her degree? Lizzie sounds like a petulant, affluent child. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Lizzie should be responsible for herself. Just like any adult. In addition to looking for work, she should apply for government benefits and charitable support. For instance, WIAC would help cover some of her grocery needs. Not the asshole, but if you take care of the baby during the day, you won't get any sleep. And I bet she'll dump the baby on you whenever she goes out. You should talk to your son about contraceptives in case she tries to get pregnant again. She's in this situation because of choices she made. So she doesn't get to be picky about jobs. You will have a baby, so you need to be an adult. Lizzie, what? No, not the asshole. Not the asshole. You offered her a very generous deal considering your finances, and she's really immature. Sure, if you were wealthy and making her take a factory job all day while caring for a newborn baby all night just to build character, I'd say that's mean. But you're offering the best you have, and she's calling you an for doing more for her than her parents are, and not giving her more than you get for yourself. Not the asshole. You gave her a home when her own family wouldn't. You don't have the money to support 3 adults and a baby. This made Lizzie cry and say she doesn't want to do a soul-destroying job because she used to have a bright future ahead of her. You're not the one who screwed that up and alienated her family. She is. How is she going to work when she has a baby? They clearly won't be able to afford childcare. How much time are you going to let her recover after the delivery before making her go back to work? 6 weeks? 3 months? Stephen is the father, so he can pick up extra work for the recovery period after the delivery. Not the asshole. Oh, poor babykins. She'll need to destroy her soul to put a roof over her and her baby's head. Sounds like she needs to cry to her own mommy and daddy instead of bothering you with her crap. She either gets parents hers to foot the bills or she gets a job. Not the asshole, but I think you need stronger boundaries. It was bananas to invite her in. Not the asshole. People need to stop enabling her shitty behaviors and let her hit rock bottom. Until she feels she needs to change, she won't. People constantly changing their lives up to be accommodating to her makes her think she's entitled to special treatment. She is not. Let her face her own consequences for once. Tell them to get jobs and move out now. What bright future. She got herself locked up in juvenile detention. And now she is pregnant. And her parents do not want her. She is living off you. And you are having a tough time making ends meet. Take her to her mom's. Drop her off there. If your son is not happy, then he can find a place to live with her. Not the asshole. Maybe she should have looked around before deciding to have this baby. There is no comfortable life for anyone in your household right now, and she's delusional to think that her teen boyfriend with a record would be able to provide one for her. She's also going to find that taking care of a baby isn't going to be a picnic either. Not the asshole. But you should have kicked her out when she refused to get a job. Now she believed she could get away with mooching off of you and felt secure enough to get pregnant. Not the asshole. They are adults and need to provide for their child. Nobody ever said adulting is easy. A baby means they just sped up the need to grow up. Am I the asshole for not helping my family? I 40 have a good career and assets I inherited from my parents, who died 2 years ago due to COVID. I am child-free and live with my partner. One of my cousin's kid is getting married. I gave the kid a sum as a gift, so they can use it for whatever they need for wedding or save for future. It's not a large sum, but a good wedding gift. Yesterday her parents came over and asked me if I am giving rest of the money at the wedding. I was confused. I said, "No, that's the gift." They called me cheap for giving so little when I had so much. I told them I do have stuff. It's something I either made or my parents gave me. I also have my own life. They said since I don't have kids and have so much money, I should be helping my nieces and nephews more, that I can easily afford a bigger gift. I told them what I have is mine to spend too, and I have my own plans for the money, like travel. They said I am a selfish off for prioritizing fun trips over my nibbling's future. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, they're being super gross and entitled. Not the asshole, you're better than me. As soon as they would have brought it up, I would have rescinded both my gift and my attendance to the wedding. It's your money. Don't let other people tell you how to spend it. Not the asshole. They're entitled and ridiculous. Not the asshole. They are not entitled to anything. A gift is to be given freely, not extorted or demanded. Less contact going forward. Enjoy your travels. Not the asshole. Your money, your business and your choices. You now know who not to give anything to those ungrateful, greedy people. Your travel plans should not include a guilt trip guided by them. Not the asshole. Not even a nibbling. A cousin's child. A gift is just that. A gift, not a demand. No matter the relationship or the financial situation of the giver or receiver. Not the asshole. Your money, only you get to decide how you spend it. Did they actually ask you to give your cousin's kid all of your money you inherited from your deceased parents? If so, then not the asshole. Giving them a decent sum for a gift is alright. But if they expected you to provide most of their kids' finances using your inherited money when you are their aunt and they are the parents, is unreasonable. Sure, you may have a lot of money, but it doesn't mean they are entitled to the money that your parents specifically signed off to you. Otherwise their names would have been in the inheritance. Not the asshole. Let your cousin give the money, after all it's their child. Not the asshole. Like you said, you have your own life. And if your parent meant for your cousin's kids to have the money, they would have left it to them in their will. I really hate this thing people have where people who are child-free owe something to those who choose to have children. People who don't have children do not owe people who make the choice to have children anything, because that was a choice they made. Not the asshole. It's your money, and with this your own decision how you spend it. Not the asshole unless your parents had a will and specifically named their children your cousins in it besides you. Then you can tell them to take a hike. And apparently, you have. It is your money, your life, and you will decide how you live it and spend it. Who the hell do they think they are to demand anything for their children from you? How much are they giving to their children now? Inquiring minds want to know. Not the asshole. Don't even respond further. You have no obligation to explain or justify how you are going to use your money. Not the asshole. You never have to give someone a gift for a wedding. Though the closer you are to the person, the more it's expected. But it's a wedding. Your nibbling doesn't need insulin to live or something. They're getting married. You could have just gotten them some random cheap thing off the registry. But instead you gave them some cash so they had flexibility. That's more than enough. Tell your cousins to stop being so selfish and work more hours and get a better job so he can helping out his kids more. His responsibility as a parent, not the asshole. Not the asshole. I hate entitled parents. Especially ones demanding child-free people spend our money in ways they approve of. My response would be, I think you should send the gift back, since it's clearly not appreciated, and then decline the wedding. If it's just the parents though and not the kids, I'd make sure the kids know what their parents did, and be clear that you won't take lightly them doing that again. How you spend your money is up to you. First, a child of a first cousin is not a nibbling. A sibling is a niece or nephew. And child of one of your siblings. Or your partner's siblings. This caused confusion as a post form a week or so ago. The child who is having the wedding is probably a first cousin. Once removed, your cousin and their partner are acting very entitled. You gave a gift. I was taught that is the thought that counts. Not the asshole. I would consider going and see with this family. Good post for our entitled people. You are not the asshole. Why do family members think that because one relative has money, they need to take care of the entire family? Wrong. It's better if they had just asked you for some financial assistance themselves and gave the reason for it. Not the asshole. There are a lot of entitled people in the world who believe that they deserve free handouts from others. You have no duty to accommodate them. Not the asshole. It's your money. Make sure not to send any more money to the rest of the family and inform them that cousin's greedy parents are to blame. Not the asshole. Tell them that it is up to them as parents to help their children out. Not you. What money you have is yours to do with as you wish. Oh my God. What is wrong with people? Not the asshole. But they sure are. If that were me, I'd never speak to them again. Whatever you do, don't win the lottery. Not the asshole. They are entitled for assuming your money should go to their kids. Their kids are not your responsibility. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. How you spend your money is no one's business but your own. They are being entitled. I love it when beggars call other people selfish. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They need to pay for their own kids' weddings. It's not your responsibility. Not the asshole. It is your money, you don't owe them anything. Not the asshole. But you did find out these people have no manners and are entitled assholes. Not the asshole. They are entitled ahs and are being absolutely ridiculous. They brought children into the world. They are responsible for them. They all should be thankful for what they received. I would definitely drop any future gifts for this family. Totally don't deserve anything. Not the asshole. Those kids are not your responsibility. Not the asshole. Fuck them kids, you owe them nothing. Not the asshole. They are entitled people who look down on children folks until they want the money. Them coming to your place and asking for more money is epitome of tackiness. I suggest you talk to your nibbling directly and get their views on this. If the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree, then you don't need to entertain them ever again. P.S. Call me cynical, but is it possible that they wanted to take money from you and then gift it to your nibbling or pocketing it themselves? Not the asshole. The reason some people have so little is because they blow it all the time. I can't imagine the nerve of them telling you any of that. Your cousin's parents had children and grandchildren. How dare they not save and work extra for their own nibbling's future? Am I the asshole for giving my son's bedroom to our foster child? My husband and I have been foster parents for over a decade. 2 months ago, we had 4 minor children living in our home. Our 12-year-old biological son, our 8 and 5-year-old adopted sons, and our 21-month-old foster son. Our 22-year-old foster daughter also still lives at home with us, and my 19-year-old son spent the summer back home after his freshman year of college. We also have other adult children that don't live at home but not really relevant. 7 weeks ago, we got a call for an emergency placement of 5 siblings: 17F, 12F, 10 meters, 7F, 6 meters. We only had 2 spare bedrooms but had enough spare beds in storage to make it work with the girls in one room and the boys in the other. It now looks like we are going to be fostering the 5 of them for considerably longer than we thought when they were placed with us. Because of the large age gaps between the girls, having them share more long term isn't really ideal. We already moved the boys a few weeks ago. We bought a triple bunk for our 8 and 5-year-olds' room and moved the 6-year-old in with them, and put the 10-year-old's bed into our 12-year-old's room. This allowed the 17-year-old girl to get her own room and the 2 younger girls to share. None of this created any drama and the boys were all more than happy to share rooms with each other. Now that my 19-year-old is going back to college, we discussed and eventually agreed on turning his bedroom into a room for our 12-year-old girl so she has her own space away from her little sister. He wasn't impressed when I brought up the idea but agreed. However, before he left back for college a few days ago, he got into an argument with my husband complaining it's unfair he's lost his room and that he has nowhere to go when he comes back home now. My other adult son also contacted me about the situation to essentially tell me it was a bad idea, and that his brother is really upset, and just because he's been away for college a year doesn't mean he is ready to lose his spot in the house. Last year we didn't need the extra space, so his room stayed empty when he was at college. This year it makes no sense to leave a bedroom empty and to make 2 girls 5 years apart in age share a room. He is still welcome home whenever, and if things change, e.g. he drops out, we can rearrange things. Again, losing his room is temporary as we don't normally have so many foster kids. When our other kids' grandkids visit, they happily use an air mattress in the den or bunk with a sibling, and he can do the same on his school breaks. He will most likely have his room back by next summer, and if not, we will figure out solutions then. I have explained all this to him but he's not hearing me. Am I the asshole? I've bought new decor etc. for the room and plan on decorating and moving our foster daughter in tomorrow. Info. Why is it important for your 12-year-old foster daughter to need her own room but not for your 12-year-old son to need his own room? It really is coming off that you are prioritizing the foster kids over your biological adopted children, and that will cause a whole host of issues. Info. What's the process you use when deciding whether or not to accept a placement? Do you get the whole family's input? Have you asked your kids in a real way how they feel about having so many foster kids join the family at once? You're the asshole. Not for fostering, obviously, but for not realizing that it's your choice and your husband's to foster, not your children's. So by all means do it if you can do it without shuffling your own children around. They are gonna grow up thinking you care more about the foster kids than your own. You're the asshole. However, before he left back for college a few days ago, he got into an argument with my husband complaining it's unfair he's lost his room and that he has nowhere to go when he comes back home now. Don't be surprised when he chooses not to come back. Air mattress in the den or bunk with a sibling, and he can do the same on his school breaks. Yeah, you're seriously overestimating the appeal of this family structure. Although I respect and applaud you for wanting to help out, I think this is you're the asshole. How big is your actual house? I'm counting like 10 people plus you 2 living in your house, and you're talking about triple bunk beds. I can understand why your son feels like you are taking on too much and pushing him out. I wouldn't be surprised if the older children feel that way too and just aren't saying it. You're the asshole. He is your biological son. You have basically just told him he has been kicked out of his home. Of course he is upset. Where the hell does he go outside of term time now you have given his room away? What next? Are you going to give all his stuff away as well? You choose to foster. This is a good thing, but it shouldn't be to the detriment of your own children. YTA, you are giving away more than you have, and your son is paying the price, so to speak. Facts, you don't have the room to foster properly. Facts, you still continue to do so at the cost of your current family, both bio and non-bio. Do with that what you will. He will most likely have his room back by next summer, and if not, we will figure out solutions then. I have explained all this to him, but he's not hearing me. So do you not expect him to come home to visit? What about holidays? It sounds like you're not listening to him, and you all are overexerting yourself and don't actually have the space for all these kids. Fostering is a choice, and you're doing it at the expense of your own kids. You're the asshole. You're taking on more than you can really handle here. It's admirable that you want to help, but crowding these children in to the point that you're pushing out your own children is not the stable, loving home they need. These children can see that your own child is losing their place in the house, and that will absolutely affect their trust in you as a source of stability. You're doing no favors to your foster children, and you're undermining your relationship with your own son at that. Please scale back your giving to something more manageable. You're the asshole. You want to help, but there is a point where you can help only at the expense of your children, and it looks like you already reached that point. I suspect this is not about the room. I think your family's situation is unstable, and your children feel that their life may change in any moment, that they don't have their own place, just temporary location. And your son? With so many children, including those he doesn't really know and doesn't feel any connection to, he may feel that you've replaced him. You're the asshole. Why are you prioritizing new foster kids over your biological children? My other adult son also contacted me about the situation to essentially tell me it was a bad idea, and that his brother is really upset, and just because he's been away for college a year doesn't mean he is ready to lose his spot in the house. A life tip: if a person agrees to something to you, but then expresses that they're upset to another person, it probably means they're not comfortable with telling you the truth. You're the asshole. He most likely won't be back. You've made the decision that he's not a permanent member of your family anymore. It's not just an empty room that he sleeps in when he's visiting you. It's his bedroom with his stuff in his home. College is temporary. He'll stay with friends or his older siblings during college visits. It will be easier to be a guest in their home than in yours. You're the asshole. Be ready for your son to never come visit anymore because he doesn't feel like he has a place. Former foster kid here: you're the asshole. You simply do not have the room to foster these kids. It sucks. I know you want to help, but you can't on this occasion. It is vital that you prioritize your bio kids. Every foster home I've been in has done that, and I've never felt unhappy about it. It's your son's home first. Always.
Am I the asshole for asking why my wife wanted something for her birthday? It was my wife's birthday recently, and she asked me to buy her a counterfeit designer bag. I asked her why, because I really didn't get it. We conversed a little, and though she showed signs that she was feeling a little uncomfortable that I was asking her this, I kept the conversation going because I wanted to explain why I was asking her this question instead of saying, "Sure, I'm not super well off, but I make good money and am financially stable. So spending a few hundred or even a few grand for a designer handbag or a counterfeit for much less was NBD. But I really wanted to rather get her something that has much more intrinsic value, so I wanted to explain my rationale. She ended up getting quite offended that I asked her that question and kept the conversation going. She then told me that this was the worst birthday of her life. She's usually not the type to care that much about showing status. She hasn't even bought new clothing aside from a few t-shirts since maybe a year or two ago. She's also usually the very meticulous type to always evaluate what she wants to spend her money on. She does her research thoroughly and decides if she wants something or not and buys a cheaper alternative if she thinks there is a lot of overhead on certain popular consumer goods. I just wanted to understand why she suddenly felt the need to show status but not spend the 2K or however much it is for a Gucci or Dior bag, and hence the ask for a counterfeit, but we now both feel super hurt on her birthday. Am I the asshole? Edit. A lot of thoughts usually race in my head. I think the whole counterfeit part triggered most of it, and led to just a lot of questions in my head. But in retrospect I have totally fucked up as a partner to just get her what she wants for her birthday. After all, I did truly want to get something she wanted and she finally answered. The numerous questions that came up in my head don't really matter for shit. Having questions are fine. But I need to frame them better casually, maybe at a later time. I should probably tame my ADHD better as well. I need to find out a way to apologize and make it up to her. What do you want for your birthday? Thing. Ew, gross. Why? Never mind, forget it. But why to? Tell me why you're gross. X200B. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. It's your wife's birthday, she shouldn't feel attacked because she asked for a bag. If she wants the bag, get her bag, who cares why she wants it? It only matters that she wants it. You really are making this a miserable experience for her, and in future if there is one she might feel weird and not be able to tell you what she actually wants because she's afraid of being interrogated. I used to ask for practical things for birthdays and Christmas, but my husband said to me one year I should pick something I want, not something I need, because we can get the practical anytime. You're the asshole. You didn't just ask out of curiosity. You required her to justify the gift. So what if you want her to have something with more intrinsic value? It's her birthday, and what she wants is what matters. Good luck getting her to open up to you about anything else. She showed you that she does sometimes desire material things, for whatever reason, and you made her feel uncomfortable about it. It might be difficult to understand, but maybe, just maybe, she just wanted the bag. Not for status, not to show off, but just because she wanted it. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. It's not about the handbag. She showed signs of being uncomfortable and you kept pushing her. I personally don't buy genuine designer because 1. It's usually poorly made and overpriced, and 2. When I inevitably scuff, stain, or otherwise damage the item, I don't feel bad. You're the asshole. People are allowed to want things without having a good reason. You asked what she wanted, then required her to justify that want. I'm guessing it will be some time before your wife asks you for anything but the most basic things. Perhaps that's what you want. And that's a sad thing if true. You hurt your wife's feelings, and likely made her feel like an idiot for asking. You owe her an apology. Info. How many times did she tell you to drop the conversation? How many questions did you ask? Asking once and getting an evasive answer would land you an NTA, but you kept at it after she was clear she didn't want to talk about it would change that answer. Also, was she offended or just annoyed? Offended would make me think something weird is going on, but annoyed would make sense after being badgered. Also, as the recipient, she gets to decide what the better gift is. I can see how that would piss her off. You're the asshole. You don't scrutinize other people's birthday wishes like that. She must have felt like she was at a court and had to bring evidence to support her case. Next time, just buy the present if you can afford it and zip it up. Nobody likes the Spanish Inquisition. You're the asshole. Gifts should be about what the receiver wants, not what you the giver perceives a gift should be. I think, as you said, she might have carefully researched what she wanted and found it at the price point that would do the job for her. Did you consider perhaps it wasn't the name on the bag but the actual style of the bag? She just wanted a purse for her birthday and your inquisition made it feel like you were doubting her ability to choose something for her birthday. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. You made her uncomfortable with being judge and jury over what she wanted for her birthday. Why do you feel hurt? She did nothing wrong. You're making her birthday about your feelings over a bag. You don't need to understand or question why. You can justify it all you like, but you ruined her birthday when you could have just let it go. Good luck in her being open with you in the future about gifts. She'll save herself the inquisition and she won't want to risk another day being ruined. Because she wants IT. Why does she have to explain why? That's so weird and a really annoying question to have to answer. I'd bet OP does this regularly. Has a need to understand, like he is so intellectual that he must command explanations regarding all aspects of life. Wife probably thought asking for a knockoff would be easier, but was sadly disappointed. You're the asshole. You're the asshole, and why do people think it is okay to act like this? Stop blaming ADHD, you're just an asshole. Info: why were you super hurt? You know that childlike spark, that light in their eyes, that all women should have around their men? You snuffed it out. You're the asshole. Lamau, imagine it's your birthday and all you want is goddamn bag and you get asked 5 million times why you want a bag. You're the asshole, a big one. So, when someone asks you for a gift on their birthday, you don't make them have to explain and defend their wants. That's what a school teacher or boss does, not your partner. So yeah, kind of a fuck up on your side. Do something spontaneous and nice, and apologize. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. You asked, she told you, you passed judgment, and now you are trying to school her. She is your wife, not your child. It's fair that you ask, but it's unfair for you to judge and then try to teach her a life lesson. You even posted that she puts a lot of thought into her purchases and doesn't shop for clothing often. If this is the case, why didn't you just trust her instead of creating an awkward situation? You, sir, need to apologize and make this right. Nice, let's just blame the ADHD. Even if you don't mean to hide behind it, so many of your comments is justifying your behavior because you have ADHD. You're the asshole for the way you treated your partner when she asked for a bag. You said she never buys clothes for herself. She never chooses to spoil herself on this kind of thing, and this could be for a variety of reasons. But occasionally everybody likes to feel nice when they dress up, wear or carry nice accessories and feel a little special. Her birthday may be her chance to feel a little more dolled up, and it's sad that you, without meaning it, have made her feel like that is pointless. You're the asshole. I sound like your wife. I'm easygoing and don't really spend money on me. So when I say I want X, my husband would never question it. Yes. I'm not even reading. It's your wife. You only live once, who cares why? She didn't even ask for the real thing. I would have told mine sure and bought her an original no matter how much I had to work to pay it off. But that's me. Maybe she cares more about having something nice than you might think, but she knows if she asks you then she'll get a full-on interrogation that makes her feel stupid and small. You're the asshole.
Am I the asshole? For standing my ground on a family tradition that my Phil says is disgraceful? My mom is Indonesian Chinese. It is traditional to give children gold jewelry. My grandparents gave me a pair of gold bracelets Geelong when I was born. I wore them my entire childhood. As a child, I never knew their monetary value and I don't recall being overly complimented on them. As with anything worn every day, I was mostly unaware of them. However, they always made me feel special, reminded me that my grandparents love me, and reminded me of my heritage. My parents gave my daughter 3 Yo Geelong when she became a big sister a few months ago, and she has been wearing them ever since. I never explicitly explained what the galing mean to my husband, but he had some idea. Neither of us talked about the galing to my in-laws. My Phil is Taiwanese. During this time, I heard from both my Mill and my husband that my Phil had misgivings about the galing in terms of Safety and showing off. He called me after seeing pictures of my daughter at school orientation and very rationally told me his concerns. I was busy, so I thanked him for thinking about it and I would do the same. Yesterday, he told my husband to tell me to call him. The first thing he said, okay. So I told you to not let her wear the gold bracelets and you didn't do it. I explained to him that I didn't know he was telling me take action and I had thought he was asking me to consider his opinion. He then heatedly began his argument for why I should not let my daughter wear Geelong one. He worked in Indonesia in the 1990s and saw the extreme violence against the Chinese partly due to their wealth. 2 Safety. 3 It is disgraceful to let her go to school wearing jewelry and showing off. I apologized, explained what the Geelong mean to me, discussed the safety aspect, and talked about her school, private preschool, 6th grade. We are relatively middle class there. Drive over 10-year-old cars. Don't wear designer clothing, etc. After 20 minutes, he told me he was tired of this long conversation and asked if I was going to do what he said or not. I asked if we could please talk more. He refused. So I asked my husband to come in and hear his dad's response. My husband has been really supportive and tried to reason with his dad. Phil began saying things like, you are a disappointment and all my efforts to raise you are a waste. My Phil made the ultimatum that if we don't take the Geelong off during school, that he nor my Mill would see us anymore. My Mill and husband have voiced that they think he is being insane and support my decision. But they both hate confrontation and I know they wish I could just obey to keep the peace. I feel that he has blown this out of proportion but won't back down because at this point, it's about control and having his children do what he says. Am I wrong to consider calling his bluff? Please give me your advice. Thank you for reading. Edited to correct spelling of Geelong thanks to the person who brought it up. Edit 2 We live in the US. Not the asshole. This is a good hill to die on. I don't know what's going on with your Phil, but his behavior is over the top. Danger. If his strategy works, it will become the new normal for him getting his way every time he interferes in your lives. Not the asshole. Have hubby communicate how ashamed he is of his father. Not the asshole. Call his bluff. The thing is, your husband is on your side. Your Phil is being insecure. Not the asshole. After 20 minutes, he told me he was tired of this long conversation and asked if I was going to do what he said or not. Oh hell no. I'd tell him, you can always give me your opinion, as long as you do it respectfully. But I'm never going to automatically do what you say. I've worked in many multicultural schools in 3 continents and seen them worn pretty often. If they ever are noticed, the kids like to share something about their culture and it's a positive for everyone. No biggie. But this isn't about the jewelry. It's FIL's racism and need for control. Good for you for protecting your children's heritage. Hang in there. Edited to add not the asshole. Not the asshole at this point? Backing down would be a huge mistake. He'll feel emboldened over everything and you'll find yourself being encouraged to give in over and over again. He isn't worried about safety. He's just pissed off that you didn't obey and that your husband in turn didn't obey. These are the pathetic tantrums of a useless old man trying to pretend he is in charge. Phil is being an entitled control freak and acting like you're being stubborn by just not doing what he says. He hasn't considered that you are an independent adult who can have their own opinions and make their own choices. He's seeing you as a child who isn't following his rules, when he has no right to expect you to listen to him. And he is behaving like a child by threatening to withhold himself. Well, he's not really incentivizing wanting to spend time with him. Now is he? I say call his bluff. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Do not concede. He is a bully and has probably been bullying your husband and your husband's whole life. Do not let him bully your daughter's culture out of her. WTF? Not the asshole and don't cave. Not only is he not your children's parent, he's a bully. I'd almost say it, his demand feels like it's rooted in racism. But you didn't specify, so as much as it feels like that, I won't assume it. Not the asshole. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You and your husband are the parents and you make the decisions where your daughter is concerned. Your in-laws do not get to demand obedience from you. Not the asshole. My and husband have voiced that they think he is being insane and support my decision. But they both hate confrontation and I know they wish I could just obey to keep the peace. Oh, fuck that. Not the asshole. He can certainly tell you of his concerns. But in the end you are the parents, not him. It sounds as if there is no issue with her wearing them at school. I find his reaction bizarre because he won't do you what you say. He won't see you anymore. Even his wife sides with you. I think if you gave in, he would just make him more belligerent in the future. So don't back down. I had to reread this to see who was making the complaints. Thinking it was your husband. But your Phil? Which makes this disgusting. I told you to not let her wear the gold bracelets and you didn't do it. How dare he? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He's going to cut off seeing his son and granddaughter over bracelets? If so, is that the kind of person you want in your child's life? Bangles are very reasonable for a kid to wear. If she is harassed for it, the fault is of the other students and should be dealt with by the school. If you do what he says here, do you think this attempt to control your parenting will stop? Also, using non-contact as a way to pressure you really confirms that it's not about concern for your child's safety. Not the asshole. He was correct to voice concerns and it seems you considered them. But he was wrong to expect compliance and to insult your husband over it. Seems now less worry and more enforcing authority over his son and extended family. For a change it is the Phil who is an ass. Nice. Ya know what? Let him have his little hissy fit. The only person he is hurting by cutting himself off from you all is himself. Hopefully Mill will get a clue and continue seeing you in the gran. If not, well, she needs to strengthen her spine. Any further advice from your Phil can be met with thank you for your opinion. We are raising our children the way we feel is appropriate. Then stop. Personally I would tell him I am sorry to hear that, but if that's what you need to do I will respect that. He's overreacting and disrespecting your traditions. That is straight up psychotic. Phil is not the parent. He's controlling and verbally abusive so he'll get his way. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Never give in to blackmail. Am I the asshole? My husband treats my kids horribly compared to his own. Some context here. We're both 44. When we met he was a single father who had sole custody of 2 kids. The mother hadn't been in the picture in years. Big-time drug user and lost all her kids. I was a single mother with 3 kids. One of the things, there were many things, but this really got me, as my kids are the most important thing in my life that I found appealing, was that he was legally raising and loving another man's child as his own. The first few years together were great. Some minor disagreements with parenting. Like him calling my 3 and 4 years old sissies because they needed a nightlight to sleep. Blending families always has learning curves. I thought best to discuss with him and we can iron out a mutual parenting plan. It seemed to work for a few years. We had all been living as one family for about 5 years. He proposed 3 months after our wedding. Things started to change. Little things at first. Comments that weren't mean, just mostly sarcastic. Then it turned into yelling if a chore wasn't done. to his exact standards. Each kid had one chore a day. I was not okay with this yelling and bickering that occurred daily. Once again we talked, but he wasn't receptive and got very defensive. You let the kids get away with everything and they have no consequences. I'm a firm believer in not double punishing kids. So if a chore wasn't done correctly, I would tell to remember next time that this is also part of your chore. For example, if one was taking the trash out but didn't put a new trash bag in the trash can. It's not defiance, it's a typical kid's forgetfulness. To clarify, all 5 of the kids had this issue. He started harping on the kids more, and his kids point blank refused to do their chore. This went on for 2 weeks. He didn't say anything, so I brought it up and his response blew me away. He said, "Your kids can do my kids' chores for a while, seeing as how yours don't know how to do chores correctly, and my kids need a break." After that, he was yelling at my 3 for everything, and it said it my kids' fault that his didn't do their chores. We both worked 40 hours a week. I handled the bulk of the household chores, with the kids having small tasks like trash, putting the dishes away, folding clothes, sweeping, feeding the dogs, and I rotated the chores every week so each kid didn't get stuck with the same chore. Tired of only me and my kids cleaning up the house we all lived in, I decided to give those that did their chores a reward of extra screen time. His kids, still not doing chores, complained about not getting the extra screen time. He bought his kids each a tablet after denying my kid a tablet for her 12th b-day. I put parenting software on the tablets and only allowed them time if their chores were done. He said I was an asshole and I had no right to stop them using what he bought them. Is he right and I'm the asshole? Not the asshole, but why WBTA if you don't dump him? Please divorce him for the sake of your kids. Not the asshole. He isn't the man that you married. He put on a show until he was sure that he could manipulate you, and now his true self is out. He should be history. If you can't leave him or eject him right now, he should be forbidden to speak ill. Demand obedience. Berate your children. You should have walked when he called a couple of preschoolers sissies for a perfectly normal desire to have a nightlight. He showed you who he was, and you ignored it. Now he thinks he has you trapped, so he's letting his true self out to play. Walk now, or you will be the asshole to yourself and your kids. He does not respect you or your parenting. If you only have his words for what his ex was like, I'd take it with a king-size grain of salt, because she's out of the picture. He can raise her kids right, just like he intends to raise your kids right if you don't get the hell out of there. Your husband for obvious reasons. That he doesn't like or accept your kids. You for allowing this to continue for 5 years. Acting reasonably in the face of unreasonable behavior is not working and is not helping any of the kids. Edit typo. He called your 3 and 4-year-old children sissies for needing a night lamp, and you think this is a minor disagreement. Yeah, I'm going to say he for obvious reasons, and you cause he is mistreating your children. He doesn't contribute to the house maintenance even though you both work. And his parenting consists in favoring his kids over yours, and you are allowing this to happen. Not the asshole for rewarding your kids. But please, leave him, he's mistreating your kids. He clearly doesn't respect you. Why are you married to this guy? He is abusive to your children, so you need to leave. Leave. Now. It's absurd you are spending time asking this question rather than where do I find a divorce lawyer? Everything was good enough until after the wedding, because he thought he had you trapped at that point, and a piece of paper would make it harder to leave. You have a full-time job. You have prospects. Seriously. Leave before your own kids hate you forever. Kids don't get to choose their parents, you choose your partner, and it is your job as a parent to Choose one that is just as right for them as they are for you. Choosing anyone over your children is unforgivable. You're the asshole for how you are letting this man treat your children. This is not a Brady Bunch scenario. You need to get them out of there and away from this person. Your first and foremost obligation is to your children. He's wanting to play evil stepfather and doing a pretty good job of it. Step up and be the mother your children need you to be. You're the asshole. You're allowing your children to be abused by this prick. Get rid of him. He's an abuser and won't change. I had a stepdad like this do the exact same thing. He had everyone fooled. It kept getting worse until I was sleeping with a knife under my pillow. Get your children away from him. Not the asshole, but YTA to yourself for accommodation this kind of behavior. Blended families are difficult, but the cornerstone of a good relationship is that all the children are treated equally. Not the asshole. His actions sound so obviously unreasonable and unfair that I suspect he might be trying to sabotage the relationship. How does he have the power to tell you that your kids can't have a tablet? My kids are the most important thing in my life. If that is true, pack your bags. Take your kids and leave. You are hurting them by staying. By choosing an abusive abusive man over their well-being. Do you actually love your kids? I mean, do you even like them? What kind of parent subjects somebody to that? Why aren't you taking your kids and running as fast as possible? You're only the because you put your kids in a shitty situation, and even though it keeps getting worse, it looks like you have no plans to take them out of the situation. All the whining on Reddit will not make your kids keep in contact with you after they're 18. Getting them out of that situation now, though, might. Not the asshole, but your husband is an abusive, hypocritical Save your kids. You're the asshole for letting this man blatantly bully your kids. Sorry if it's mean, but you need to see the reality. He waited until you got married to relentlessly hound your kids so he didn't have to parent his own. You guys both suck right now. You're only addressing the kids' screen time. Not the fact that your husband is the one that is telling his kids to kick their feet up while yours work. Info: why did you accept your kids can do my kids' chores as a valid way of running the household? If this is what you are seeing and you feel like you might somehow be an for addressing it, I worry that there are more and worse ways he's mistreating your kids and favoring his own that you are missing. This is a blatant display of unfairness and favoring his kids, no two ways about it. He's expecting your kids to wait on and clean for him and his children. He's making first-class and second-class types of kids for gifts. This is not a tough one. Am I the asshole for firing one of my babysitting clients? I 17F babysit part-time and have been for the past 2 years. In that time I've gotten some regular families who'll have my babysit. One of my first clients was Mackenzie. She's 21 and has a 5-year-old daughter, Allie. Her mom and my mom are close friends. She was one of my first clients, and because I was doing it as a favor to my mom, I gave her a reduced rate, $10 hour. My other clients pay $15.25 hour depending on how many kids they have and the kids' age. Recently I decided to fire Mackenzie and stop babysitting Allie. I babysit Allie at least once a week, if not more. Over the summer I was basically Mackenzie's daycare plan, where I agreed to take care of Allie while she worked for $200 a week. I'd also babysit her on the weekends a lot so Mackenzie could go party with her friends. After a few weeks of her coming home hours later with not text or warning, I told her that I'd begin charging her double for every hour she's late. So if I was supposed to babysit from 7-Eleven, that'd be $40. But if I was supposed to babysit 7-Eleven and she came home at 3 a.m., then she'd need to pay me $120. She wouldn't pay more than the $40 unless her mom made her pay or her mom would pay it for her. She kept coming home late and began to stop paying me. I kept track and sent her a text telling her that unless she paid me what she owed I wouldn't babysit Allie at all. She did after 2 weeks of me not answering any requests to babysit, but I decided to fire her anyway and tell her I won't be babysitting for her again because of her refusal to pay me. Also, without babysitting Allie so much, I can babysit for other people who pay more. My mom and her mom are really upset since she can't afford other childcare and they keep telling me just to babysit for her and they'll make sure that she pays me or pay me for her. Am I the asshole? So, your mom is upset that you won't let someone take advantage of you for free labor? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Mackenzie is an obvious asshole. Both moms are assholes too for not recognizing failure to pay worker for work done as an extremely serious issue. Can't afford childcare is not your problem. If Mackenzie's mom is upset, she can just give Mackenzie money for childcare. Not the asshole, you gave her fair notice of what was going to happen. She messed around and found out. Not the asshole. Both moms and Mackenzie are being gross and attempting to gaslight you into thinking that Mackenzie is somehow the victim when she's been taking advantage of you while getting a sweetheart deal. You don't owe her anything. Tell your mom that she's welcome to babysit for Mackenzie if it's so important to her. Not the asshole. You aren't her friend. You are already giving her a discount and she not only doesn't appreciate it, she's abusing it. Don't babysit for her anymore. Since your mother and her mother are mad at your decision, tell them they are free to do all the babysitting themselves. Not the asshole. Why are your moms so keen to enable her bad behavior? You were giving her a deal and she took advantage of you. Let her figure it out. You are running a business, not a charity for Mackenzie. Mackenzie took advantage of you one too many times and now she will have to find somebody else to watch her kid if she wants to go out and party till the wee hours. Maybe your mama will step up, since your mama feels so sympathetic toward Mackenzie. Not the asshole. If it matters that much, your mom and her mom can babysit for free or close to free, while she's out working and partying and not bonding with her own daughter. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, however it is you handle the interactions. The core is that you're being taken advantage of for cheap labor. If your mother is upset, it's because she looks bad to her mom, not because you're looking out for your own interests. You should be the one that decides when and how you babysit for people. Your mom should respect you for that. Not the asshole. If she can't pay you for your time, then she needs to find other options. Not the asshole. Mackenzie needs to grow up. Not the asshole. You're already giving her a reduced rate, so she should be more considerate. You're not the asshole even if you just didn't want to do it anymore. Another option, I haven't seen it yet anyway, is to say our previous contract is finished due to late payment. In the future, I charge however much you charge other people for a child Allie's age. I do not do overtime. If you are ever not here by the time you said you would be, I will call your mother to come cover and our business relationship will be permanently terminated. If any of the three mothers has a problem with that, the problem is hers and should not be yours. Not the asshole. She was trying to take advantage of you. Good for you for sticking to your guns and refusing to babysit for her again. If she can't afford other childcare, she can get her mom to help out. Seeing as she is prepared to help pay for you to babysit, she should be prepared to help pay for someone else too. Not the asshole. You should work for whomever you want and on the terms you want. You communicated what was up. She was unhappy. Oh well. That said, I am curious about the arrangement. It seems as though you had been charging her for the agreed upon time, say 7-11 instead of the actual time 7 whenever she got home. Is that right? If so, why didn't you 1 just up your rate, and 2 charge her for the time you actually spent babysitting? Not the asshole. Tell your mom you're not bending, and if that hurts her friendship with the other mother, then you're both rid of 2 cheap sakes. Not the asshole. If she's arranging childcare, she needs to pay for it in a timely fashion and treat you with enough respect that she's letting you know if she's going to be late. A few minutes is one thing, but hours late is far different. If she wants and needs care for Ally, there are other places she can go. She's taking advantage of you through the relationship your moms have. She's going to learn quickly that others won't extend her the same leeway. And if her mom is so worried about her finding care for Ally, she can volunteer. Not the asshole. Good for you for sticking up for yourself. The world is full of people who will take advantage of you if you let them. Not the asshole, and maybe explain to both her mom and yours exactly why you are firing Ally. She's a mom wanting to act like a college kid, and you're an actual teenager who sounds more responsible and clear-headed than all the other people in this story. You don't have to take jobs from people who won't pay you fairly. That's not your problem. It's theirs. How about the grandma babysit and get taken advantage of? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Don't babysit for people who don't pay and or don't treat you with respect. Info: why do you need to pay the consequences for her bad choices in life? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I wouldn't babysit for her anymore. She will continue to take advantage of you at the low rate. And yes, you are probably missing out on income at the higher rate, possibly even losing clients to another babysitter because they have been available. Ask your mom if she would work for someone who devalued her constantly. And would she keep giving up more money from someone else to allow this person to continue this bad behavior? Not the asshole. Why are they coming after you instead of the deadbeat daughter who takes advantage of you and treats you like an unpaid servant? Stand your ground. Tell her mother her daughter is behaving abominably and you want nothing to do with her. Not the asshole. Your mom and her mom are awfully generous with your time and money. Let them babysit. Not the asshole. Tell your mom and her mom to babysit for her.